Well, good morning. It is time for Bedhead Chat with Chad, and it is a special edition this morning because we have my big bro here today for Bedhead Chat. And we have another special guest, looks like in the corner, but evidently my big bro doesn't understand what Bedhead Chat with Chad is. I know I have a different camera today, so you can't see the glorious, stupendous, beautiful job that Mother Nature did on my hair this morning. It looks like I actually slept flat on the top of my head, like a headstand. But Todd, I just got to tell you, I wore a special shirt for you here today. You're not at my level, bro. I found this in my dirty clothes pile. You know, for those of us that don't worry about getting up and getting showered first thing in the morning. But hey, everybody, say good morning to my big brother Todd. Todd, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. Still learning your technology here.
But Todd, I just got to tell you, I wore a special shirt for you here today. You're not at my level, bro. Oh, I see. So we're gonna have some technology problems. For those of us that Todd, you got to totally mute your Facebook. Hey, everybody, say good morning to my. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So we got words for the day, and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to be nice to Todd. So here's the thing. When we started this, it was because everybody's going live on Facebook and showing all of their talents. And one of my talents and thing I get paid for is to talk. Well, guess what? My brother Todd, same thing. He gets paid to talk. So we're going to see how well he talks. So I'm going to see what words are put out there. I'm going to look on my Facebook and let me see if any words are put out there. Oh, Todd, somebody has the word that they want you to tell a story about. They put the word macarena. Do you have a story for macarena?
Is that your mother that wrote that?
No, it just says macarena on my Facebook page. Do you have a story for macarena?
Well, I've got a couple of stories for macarena.
Well, go ahead and tell a story with the word macarena. It's just, that's the topic word. You can tell anything you want with the word macarena.
Well, you know, we remember we came down to Orlando and went to Disney when you guys were living down there. And
oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I thought you wanted stories that weren't going to get me in trouble as a pastor.
Oh, you don't have to tell a story if you don't want to, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, one of the things is, you know, wherever we are, I don't mind people staring at me, looking at me, and you don't either. You're worse than me. So here we are. We're at which one?
Water park.
Typhoon Lagoon, or
Typhoon Lagoon, yeah.
Yeah. So we're at Typhoon Lagoon. The girls and the kids have all gone somewhere, and Chad and I are left watching the stuff. Well, the Macarena comes on, and of course we just ham it up right there, you know, doing the Macarena as it's coming on the speaker in our swimsuits. Neither one of us are particularly body models.
If I do recall, it was our swimsuits, and we didn't mind letting our guts hang out. We didn't like pull them up and make it sure we looked really good in our swimsuits.
Well, you know, I can't remember how much gut I had back then. What I do remember is that there was this Swedish couple that was staring at us as we were watching. And so afterwards...
Wait. I got to add in the Swedish couple in what do you call those really, really tight, skinny swim shorts?
They were old, but it was obvious that they thought we were a couple.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to get in trouble here. First story out of the gate. So we do the Macarena. They're watching us and really kind of giving us the look. And so I just decided that you needed some
suntan lotion.
Suntan lotion. And so I rubbed it on you all over your chest.
I did need suntan lotion though. But yeah, that was fun. Hey, I got another word for you, Todd. Oh, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Greg. They got the word scream. Do you have any stories that go with the word scream?
Scream?
Scream. Yeah. Hey, Sam, all the way from Michigan. Scream. You got any stories that go with scream?
I don't know. I used to scream like a little girl whenever Jim Van Dusen would sit on me.
Oh, Jim Van Dusen. So Jim Van Dusen was my best friend in when we were kids. This is going way back when we were little kids. He was the neighborhood. And every time Todd would mess with me, back before I got rough and tough.
Well, we're not fighters. We've never been fighters.
No.
I mean, you know, we might.
But Jim would take care of business for me.
Yeah, basically sit on me.
Yeah.
Thanks for the visual, guys. Oh, Sam, you mean the visual? There we go. I gave it to you again. But Scream, oh yeah. Hey, Sam, you got a word for me? So Sam on here, Sam was one of our, well, she's an amazing young adult. Niles Haunted House Scream. Oh, I'll tell you Niles Haunted House in just a minute, but let me tell you about Sam real quick. Sam was one of our young ladies from the Eclipse. And actually, she's the one that named the Eclipse. But the way I met Sam was we were visiting this building that was called, I want to say Common Grounds Dog Collars. Yeah, I'll go there. I'll tell that story. That's the word she gives me, dog collars. So we were visiting Common Grounds with our youth group from Dowagiac, and this is in Buchanan, Michigan. And here's Sam, who is completely goth and a nonconformist. I got it right that time, Sam. And a nonconformist. And so she's all black. She's got chains and all this, and she's in there and she's with just a few people, and everyone is all around, but Sam and I are sitting at this table, and we spent 3 hours at this table having a conversation about her conforming to becoming nonconformist. And it was this great conversation. By the time the night was over, the whole group was around this conversation, and it formed our core group that soon became what we end up taking over this place September 11th of all days. The day we moved in, we took over this Eclipse, and Sam became our core person. So Sam went from being this person who was a nonconformist to becoming a core leader in the Eclipse. And, you know, cute story. She found Jesus in a bathtub. Yeah. How's that? Ask Sam about that one, but she found Jesus in a bathtub. Yeah, that's where she found Jesus. Not in a church, not anywhere else, but after a lock-in, soaking in a bathtub, she's like, okay, whatever they got, I want that. But yeah, how's that for a story? Bathtub.
Aunt Sharon's watching. Hey, I got this mug out for you, Aunt Sharon.
Found Jesus in the bathtub. So the word scream and screaming contest at the Eclipse. Okay, I don't even remember a screaming contest at the Eclipse. Oh my gosh. I'm sure we did something crazy at the Eclipse. We did a lot of crazy stuff. But Todd, Sam threw dog collars out at me, and I'm going to tell a dog collar story about the Eclipse, about her real quick, because that's what she's getting at. And then you got the word dog collar. You got to think of something while I tell this quick story for dog collar. So the dog collar thing was she was wearing this dog collar, and this is how the conversation originally started for this nonconformist. And I'm like, it started with me looking at her, and she's got this dog collar with all the spikes, but it had the little collar part on it, you know, like where you could hook a leash to it. So of course I walked up to her after I met her a little bit, but I'm pretty straightforward and kind of, I was like, hey, where's your leash? And that started this little back and forth conversation, which started the Eclipse, which was an amazing thing. Todd, you're up. Dog collar. What do you got?
Well, I can jump on the conforming to nonconformity. You know,
but you got to throw dog collar in there somehow.
All right. So, you know, back in college, after we got out of Christian school and we're able to actually dress the way we wanted and grow our hair out. So I never wanted to be like everybody else. For those of you on the Enneagram, I'm like Enneagram 4.
Not at my level, bro. I found this in my dirty.
I'm getting an echo. Are you getting?
That's all you. That's all you.
No, I don't know why.
Dress the way we wanted and grow
Shoot. Hang on.
Go ahead. You're fine.
I'll leave it up. So anyway, so I never wore a dog collar. I remember trying to copy Brett. Brett decided he'd be a nonconformist, and he wore a spoon or a fork or something as and wrapped it around his thing. Well, I had Chuck Taylors, a mullet, and a trench coat I got from Goodwill. And that was about as close as I ever got to being a nonconformist. So I guess I succeeded because I wasn't even able to conform to the nonconformity.
Okay. So he's a conforming nonconformist.
Even when I try to conform, I can't do it.
Okay, so Todd.
Uncle Joe's saying hi too. Say hi to Uncle Joe.
Hey, hi, Uncle Joe.
So it's only our aunts and uncles are the only one that care to watch me.
That's nice. So you need to put on your Facebook page, you got to have them give you a word, but the next word over here is broken window.
Who gave you that one?
Really?
I don't know, but it's on here.
Probably your mother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's no thing. Is when we were young, Chad broke a window in Grandma's house.
I don't think so.
And Grandma asked him if he did it, and he denied it, and then asked me if I did it, and I denied it. And since no one would admit it, she brought it up every single year until she died. Who broke the window? One of these days, you guys are going to admit which one of you broke the window. And she was convinced that one of us did it, and one day that we would be old enough and mature enough and to come out clean and do it. And then, of course, Chad Chad picked up this tradition at Thanksgiving, and maybe he's already told us at another. I know he told this on the radio, one of his sermons a few months back. For those of you that are in his church there in Nome, but he got this Thanksgiving tradition that he picked up off of. I don't know what it was.
Group magazine.
Yeah, Group magazine. How to mess with your family. Well, he certainly succeeded. So every time we Thanksgiving, we come around and everyone will say what we're thankful for. And after, the wives say they're thankful for their family and for their children and for their blessings and whatever. And Chad would always say, I'm thankful I never got caught. Well, that meant absolutely nothing, except it gave us an opportunity to accuse him once again of breaking the window, which we know that you did, Chad. So if you'd like to come clean, this would be a perfect opportunity to let everyone know that it was you who broke the window.
I confess, I did not break the window.
Yeah, my theory has always been, and it still is, that Chet
no last names.
Oh, no last names.
We don't use last names here.
Too late.
Okay.
Chet broke the window.
Yeah,
Chet's
he's been saying that.
Anyway, no one knows who he is.
Okay, so we've got a lot of, even though there's other words in here, somebody said cow tipping, and then we got a second for cow tipping. I have a cow tipping story, but do you have a cow tipping story?
It's probably the same one. Go ahead.
No, you start, because I got different ones, believe me. Go ahead, you start with your cow tipping story.
Well, I mean, cow tipping is basically the same as snipe hunting. I mean, and if you've never
no, it's not. It's real.
If you've never done it, Chad and I would love to take you anytime.
Go ahead and tell one of your cow tipping stories.
Are we allowed to? I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Sherry's probably watching.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I just remember the going out and taking a group cow tipping, and I don't remember who they were. It might have been Sherry, maybe it wasn't, but you were always the instigator. I'm just following along. But we're taking these younger people out cow tipping, and they all get out in the car, and just as they're climbing the fence, Chad yells, "Farmer!" and then takes off, and all of those kids start hiding in the ditch. So we come back like 10 minutes later, and all of them are hiding in the ditch because they literally think a farmer is coming, and they were out there to tip over a cow. I honestly don't believe that even 6 or 8 of them could have tipped over a cow, even if it was a real thing.
Okay, people. So here's the deal with cow tipping. Here's the real trick behind it. Okay.
You need leverage.
Well, here's the real trick to cow tipping. If you've never been cow tipping before, what happens is they'll tell you want to be in the back of the cow, not the front, because when you tip the cow over, because they sleep standing up, when you tip the cow over, they can turn around and bite you. So they want you to be in the back of the cow. But what really happens is when you push the cow over, think about a couple 1,000 pounds of cow hitting the ground. Just do the math on woof. The body goes like this. What do you think happens to everything that's inside of the body that's loose? Okay, just do the math. It's messy. It's messy. So the whole trick to cow tipping is to have the new person in the back. Well, here's how I do things, because I don't do things the simple way. The first time you go out cow tipping, the newbies, you go out and we take you out there to the cow farm. And when you get out there, I get you about halfway out, and the person that takes them out is someone who can run fast and say, "Farmer, farmer. And the person that runs back jumps in the back of my truck, and then we leave the newbies out there. And usually, depending on who they are and how they are, we make them walk the 5 miles back home. Well, the second time we take you out, it depends on who they are. And I usually do it again. I say, farmer, and then they go. And then I just kind of test their, you know, I was like, okay, here's the deal. It's real. I just had to see if you'd fall for it again. And then we normally, the third time, we let them really go cow tipping. But sometimes, because I'm devious, on the third time they go out, I do the same thing. And I yell, farmer! And we go out and we ditch them and we make them walk the 5 miles home again. Well, my record is 11 times for a guy named Brandon that he went out cow tipping and had to walk 5 miles home. Now, here's the irony to the story with Brandon. I took him out to my grandpa's property. Todd, what does my grandpa have in his field? What did he have in his field?
Soybeans.
Soybeans and corn. Where's the closest cows to my grandpa's field?
3, 4, 5 miles. I don't know.
3, 4, 5 miles.
There's a pig farm on the adjacent side at once upon a time, but
yeah, so I got him to go 11 times to a field, and I finally felt so bad for the guy after I made him walk about 55 miles in about a 3-month period of time. I said, Brendan, have you ever seen a cow? Have you ever heard a cow? Have you ever smelled a cow? There's no cows. But then the guy said, all right, can you take me to real cows? So if you ever want to go cow tipping when I move back into, which I'll be back in the near future, if you ever want to go cow tipping with me, I would love to take you cow tipping. Okay, but I will take you to real cows. But don't ever be in the back of the cow. Okay, that's the trick. Don't be in the back of the cow. Make sure you're in the front of the cow when you go cow tipping. So that is one of many, many, many stories of cow tipping. Snipe hunting, that's all fake. Don't believe snipe hunting. That's they just want to get you out there and ditch you and leave you there. Snipe hunting is for suckers. Cow tipping is for the real people. I'm part of Cow Tipping Anonymous. I got the shirt and everything. So there we go. Cow tipping is for the real people.
Well, see, the other thing with cows though is you got to play hey cow, which is when you're on a road trip, especially if you're
my cows.
Is you roll down the window, so someone gets the right side of the road, someone gets the left, and every time you pass a herd of cow, you yell out as loud as you can, "Hey cow!" And every cow that turns its head, you get a point.
We played my cows, and then everyone else's cows are dead. Whoever has the most cows wins.
We played padiddle, or one headlight. I remember when you flashed the bright lights at a cop and got pulled over, and then lied and said, "Oh, I accidentally hit the thing with my knee."
I did what? How many times did I get pulled over?
Oh, you got pulled over like every other day.
You guys remember things that I don't remember with my driving. Everybody tells stories about my driving, and I don't remember any of them.
No, I remember we were out south of Niles, and we were doing this thing. That was back when they said if you the old urban legend was happening where if you flash your brights at somebody, they'll turn their lights off and then come back and kill you as a gang initiation.
Oh, that wasn't a legend.
And so it's an urban legend. Look it up. But anyway, so while all that was going on, you got flashed by an oncoming car because your brights were on, and so you turned your lights off. Well, the guy that flashed you was a cop, and he pulled you over.
Oh!
And when he pulled you over, he said, "I'm sorry, it was an accident. I didn't mean to turn my lights off. I was trying to turn my brights off, and I accidentally did." You were lying because you were trying to freak him out and thinking that you were going to do a gang initiation on him. But
okay, all right. So that reminds me of a cop story. So when I lived in Saugatuck, yeah, I guess I do have a lot of cop stories when it comes to driving. I had a motorcycle. I used to drive fast. I did, and I was in Holland, Michigan. And
all right,
it was,
you having Brett on here? You need to tell the story about taking us to prom.
Well, I'll have Brett in a couple of weeks. I'll have him be my guest on one of these coming Wednesdays. Yeah, he's got a lot of stories, but turnabout's fair play with Brett because we've got stories on each other. So I was in Holland, Michigan, and I was in like heavy traffic. And this car, there's a semi in front of me and a car next to me. And there was clear traffic. I mean, I could have got through, but this car would not let me get by. So being on a motorcycle, you can go through things that most cars can't. So here I am. Now, granted, this was in the 90s. This was the evil Chad. This is the bad Chad. He doesn't exist anymore. Remember this. So I go and I just gun it because I had a rocket for a motorcycle. I had a Honda Nighthawk 650 with shaft drive. I mean, this thing was a rocket. When you drop down a couple gears, boom. So I dropped down a couple gears and I shot through, and then I waved the one finger wave at the car behind me. And then I just shot. And then the car, yes, the one finger wave right here. I'm like, hey, you're number one. And then the car kind of sped up on me and tried to start kind of chase me. So I started screwing with him. But then as he got really close to me, I started weaving through traffic. I got way ahead of him. But then I got up to a stoplight, and I'm at the very beginning of this stoplight. And this car is like 6 cars behind me. And this car the guy gets out of his car, starts heading towards me. I'm like ready to go. I'm like gunning it. I'm like ready to just rocket out of here. And I see him pull out a badge. And he's like, pull over. And I'm like, oh crap. So here I am. I mean, reckless driving, speeding, all these things. And the guy, so I pull over. He pulls over. He was an undercover, unmarked car. He was following somebody for a drug bust. And this guy is reaming me out. He's like, he goes, if you were going to run, I had a cop waiting down the way to nail you. And this guy is just like writing me up for everything in its mother. I mean, I was toast. I was going to jail. Well, my dad drives by, and he's in his convertible, and he drives by and he sees me. And he pulls up in front of me. And this is Holland, Michigan in the 90s. And Holland is a very Christian town, very Dutch Reformed. And he pulls up, and my dad comes up and he starts yelling at me in the opposite view of the cop. And he winks at me. Like, I mean, and he starts yelling. He's like, what did I tell you? What did I tell you about the way you drive? Blah, 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 blah. He starts yelling. He goes, get in my car right now and give me those keys. And the cop said, sir, I see you've got this under control. Have a nice day. I got in the car, drove away. My dad took the motorcycle, drove away, and I got out of it. I was going to jail. And because my dad yelled at me in front of the cop, I got out of it. No felonies for Mr. Chad. So that is my probably favorite got out of a ticket, got out of jail story. Yeah. So let's see, what other words? A good fishing story, Todd. Fishing story. You got a good fishing story? We're getting down to the last 6 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, the time just flies on Bedhead Chat with Chad. I'm telling you, it just goes fast. So what do you got for a fishing story?
I'd like to think I'm a great fisherman, but I'm not.
I got a great fishing story. What do you got?
Max always catches a bigger
Yeah.
fish.
Well, okay, so while you're thinking about here, when I lived in Florida, when we lived in Florida, we just got connected to everything, and then we move. Every time we live somewhere, right about the time that we get all our connections and meet people and have all our hookups, then it's time to go. But we had a guy we met, and he took Jeremy and I out deep sea fishing. And at one point, we're out on the Gulf Stream, and he and I both connected to sailfish. And this is way up north where you don't normally catch sailfish, but we both have sailfish. So we're going, and they both go separate directions. And normally to catch a sailfish, the captain of the boat just chases the sailfish. You don't reel them in as much as the boat chases them. Well, here he is trying to follow each sailfish. And he's like, all right, we got to the point where like, how many strings do you have left on your reel? And that's the direction he would go. So about 2 hours in, literally 2 hours in, we're still counting strings to see which way he's going to go. His sailfish, which was bigger than mine, jumped up, came down and snapped the line. And so we finally started chasing mine down. Well, it came in once, but with a sailfish, you can't hook it. With most fish, they come close to the boat, you hook them and you bring them in. Well, the sailfish, because they have to be a certain length to catch, and there's certain rules, you have to grab it by the sail, by the sword part of it. and you pull it out, which I didn't, the captain did, but it came up close once. He grabbed it, he missed it. 3.5 hours in, I'm ready to just say, screw this, because you can't hand it off. And the sailfish gave up right before I gave up. I mean, I was literally, 3.5 hours of a constant struggle, give, take, counting down to, I got down to 6, the lowest I got was 6 lines on my spool, meaning there was only 6 threads left on my spool at one point. Finally caught the sailfish, 64-inch sailfish. I caught a fish this big, literally. So that is my favorite fish story. And yeah, so I really did catch a fish this big. I didn't mount it, I ate it. It was really good. Smoked sail tastes really, really, really good. Todd, you're up.
So all of my stories, I don't have funny stories. I just think about, when we were young, going up to the lake, and Uncle Ralph and Aunt Grace had a cottage on the lake.
Yeah.
Up next to Ben and Teresa had one right next door, and we'd go up there in the summers. And I remember just getting to go out with Uncle Ralph, and we'd have a cane pole that he had strung for bluegill. We pull in one right after another, and so all of those summers kind of meshed together of fish fries and coming back. But one thing I do remember, because at that time I was kind of I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was little, and I remember I just loved animals and everything. And what would happen is Uncle Ralph was old school. He'd come up and he would fillet all of those bluegills, or he just cut them. A lot of times we do it bone in, but I remember he would just he wouldn't wait. I mean, they're flopping around and he's filleting them while they're still moving, and I couldn't take it as a young little boy, and so he started whacking it in the head with a knife so that it would stop flopping before he did it, because I was watching. That was one of the things I remember about fishing. And I don't, back then you thought you were just catching fish after fish after fish, and I never had that again since days up there on the lake.
I remember with the cane poles, we just drop that in really deep, pull out a bluegill.
I still have a scar. I have an elbow scar from skinning my elbow that summer, and I think we were in the lake every single day. It never healed over the whole summer, and so I still have an elbow scar at age 50 from when I was 8 or 9, and not letting that elbow scab heal because I was in the water so much.
Well, Todd, we only have a minute left. Before we go, I just want to say, if you are listening from the Michiana area, Todd is the pastor of Oak Creek Church in Mishawaka. Mishawaka. Check him out right now. Obviously, we're not going anywhere. We're all stuck in our houses, but oakcreekvideos.com. You can see some of his stuff online. He's got his sermons. He's got his church on there. Pastor Todd Benkert, my brother. I used his last name. Oops. But yeah, check him out. He's not as cool as I am, but he's pretty cool. So check him out. oakcreekvideos.com. Hey, Todd, you got any last words?
I tell you,
There's one incriminating story about me. If you can do one incriminating story about me, if you want. You have one shot.
One incriminating story about you.
Only one per day.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Yes.
We already did the Macarena story, so.
Well, that was more incriminating about you because you slathered me. Hey, Sam. All right. Hey, remember, Bedhead Chat with Chad. Right now, no work, no showers, no shaving, whether it's here, doesn't matter. Wear new clothes from yesterday. You don't be like Todd. You don't have to get up and get dressed.
Well, we do this again. I'm going to do some show prep because I don't do well extemporaneous, but I do awesome with notes. So if I can come up with a bunch of stories, I'll turn any word into one of those stories.
So put the stories and then you give us words and then he'll just, hey, you have children. Well, okay. So Sam, you got to get up, but you don't have to get dressed. Well, I mean,
so is Aunt
Sharon, you can go into your day pajamas.
Wait. So
your night pajamas.
Is Aunt Sharon still watching? Do you have a story about Aunt Sharon from your time in Orlando?
I do, but we're done today. We got to stop. Our time is up. She'll have to check in tomorrow. So, hey guys, it's been great. Say thank you to Todd. We may have him back. So we will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Alaska time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock, whatever the next time is, and 8 o'clock Pacific Time. All right, you guys have a great day. It's been Bedhead Chat with Todd and Chad. See you guys later. We are out.